up, and I guess, start with the finance committee, or with council. I guess I want to ask this question. I've had different conversations with different council members. What's council's thoughts on rotation in the different committees? Councilmember Garberding?
As much as I love public works and streetlights and potholes and clean.
I hope the chairman gets so that young folk will be there.
I would really like a new assignment to public works.
So, regarding the question about rotation, Councilmember Case.
Only downside to rotating is sometimes you don't, 1 year on a committee doesn't give you enough exposure to really learn all the time. I know on the finance committee, I'm just kind of figuring it out.
Well, my concern is people that have spent multiple years on a committee and not allowing opportunity for new council members to rotate into those committees and learn. That's what my concern is. I guess that's kind of the conversation I wanted to start.
I think it's good to keep at least one experienced person to show the ropes to the new people.
I think there's value to have people staying on, I mean, not the entire committee never rotating, but, you know, there's value in building relationships. And there's people with different strengths and different weaknesses. Like, Katie's really good at public works stuff. I think she should chair the public works committee next year.
I don't even know the names of the streets.
But like, you know, finance, technology stuff, I mean, everybody kind of has their own specialty. So forcing somebody off a committee just because they've been on there for a few years doesn't necessarily make any sense.
Okay, I'm just asking the question. As people have come to different conversations, I just want to have this open conversation. Councilmember Schreiber.
I'd like to stay on the 2 committees that I'm on right now. The reason Public Works is because I'm still on the hook on the Valentine project and everything, so I gotta stay active on that one, and public safety's always been kind of my campaign stand on, so I'd like to stay there. Again, like I said, possibly you're going to get rid of me next year.
So, would council like to just kind of go down the list? If we look at finance committee, anybody want off that committee? I mean, is that how you want to do it? How does council want to proceed with this?
I want to talk about the alternate, because there's been some discussion about doing away with alternate and making council president be the only full alternate.
And that's how it is in our rules.
Yeah.
We have to change that.
I think the one thing with the Valley Regional Fire Authority, there is a registered alternate for that position within Valley Regional Fire Authority.
Their governance.
Yeah, so I think we should keep an alternate for that. Well, that's just my opinion.
I think that it would be beneficial if we had an alternate for every committee. That way, if someone can't make a meeting, the alternate can come through.
So, council discussion on that?
Then we need to change the council rules.
Right.
Because right now, the council president is on this. Is an alternate for every committee.
Okay.
And so that's.
I was not aware of that.
Councilmember Slater.
I would feel that we shouldn't have somebody just jump in, put their boots on and jump into the committee just because somebody's sick that night or something else. I mean, committees need to just kind of, if you got somebody very ill or something else, let's work the night around to another night. Let's not be hard and fast rule on when the meeting is going to be exactly on that particular hour and everything else. Be more lucrative and try to adjust the meetings around who can be available. And if there's a situation where there's a long-term illness for 2 or 3 or a month or something like that, then the council president can step in and fill that slot, because council president usually is somebody who's been around a while, so they have a little bit of experience on what goes on in various committees.
Right.
You were the wrong guy then.
Councilmember Case.
Just to add to that is, I think having having someone who's not up to speed on what the committee's necessarily talking about takes away from the continuity of the committee's ability to work together.
Right. No, I totally agree. I think that makes perfect sense, and you can't have an alternate at the meetings if they're speaking, then you have a quorum.
Which is fine, as long as the meeting's advertised and.
Right. And it usually is, but generally, you don't want to have a quorum at. Okay, so, again, how would council like to proceed with this? Do you want to go down each individual committee, and if somebody wants off the committee, or how do you want to proceed?
That's probably a good way to do
Okay,
it.
so the finance committee, Garberding, Jones, and Kay, are all three of you willing to stay on that committee?
Jones stated that,
I think there's chance to.
yeah,
You can stay on Friday.
he can stay on finance if needed, or he can go to public works.
So, or not both, right?
Right.
So, and, Katie wants off of public works, so is there somebody that's interested in going to finance to take Councilmember Jones' spot, so Councilmember Jones can go to public works?
Well, there's no limit. I mean, you can have them all. I mean, he can be on committee.
That's why my question, it said or, not both.
I can
I don't-
stay on finance if needed, and if needed, I can attend public works.
I don't mind taking finance.
Which one is finance?
Well, I'm just saying, I don't mind taking it.
Okay. Well, and I guess I'm just kind of concerned about putting Dawn on a lot of committees.
Yeah.
I want to be respectful. That's all. That was my only concern.
I'm willing to stay on finance
Okay.
Me too.
for another year.
So would you like to take Councilmember Jones' spot on finance, and we'll put Councilmember Jones on public works?
Sure.
Can you make Katie from that? I guess, if you decide. Okay, governance committee is Councilmember Cave, Olivera, Putnam. Any changes to that committee?
I'm willing to stay, but if someone really wants on it, they can take my spot, but.
Any burning desires to be on the governance committee?
And it's, right now it's an ad hoc committee,
Mhm.
so it just meets as needed, so there's.
Well, if you want off of that one, I can pick it up. If it, you say it'd be how often, once every now and then?
Well, it's gonna be meeting fairly regularly.
Yeah.
I mean, because we have, Jack Dodge is working on going through all those ordinances, and so it's gonna be run through the governance committee before it comes to,
Yeah.
you know, I think they're gonna be meeting monthly for a few months, but, I mean, it's not that often. It's like other committees,
Right.
once a month meeting. That helps with the discussion. So did you wanna stay on it, Dick, or did you wanna release it?
I don't have a burning desire to stay on it, but I kind of, my idea of forming it, so I'm willing to
Right.
stay, but if someone wants on it, I'm willing to give up my spot.
Comments, Katie? No? So leave that committee as is? All right, Public Works Committee, so Garberding off and Jones on, and then we have Putnam and Cyber. And Putnam just got on it this last year too, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay, so leave that committee as is? Is that the council's pleasure? I'm not hearing any objections, I guess.
I wouldn't mind being on that committee, but if, I don't know if John wants to be on it, or if he says he would be willing to be on it, I don't know how that works.
Which committee is it again?
Public Works.
Public Works.
And he's been on it before, he worked on the Valentine.
Right.
Project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's on the Valentine project. I think that's why he indicated that he would want to get back on again, because this year, there's going to be a lot of activity on the Valentine project going on.
So that consistency, I think, really brings it to your attention. Okay. Public Safety Committee, I think, council has decided that they do not want an alternate on that committee. Okay, so Brett's alternate, and then that's Garberding, Cave, and Cyber. Any changes to that committee?
I would like to stay.
I'd like to stay.
So it indicated not
That's
to.
right. that committee?
I would like to say that, I would like to be on public safety committee.
I think John would as well.
John Jones?
Oh, no, hold on.
Yeah, he would like.
Yeah, he wants to trade me public safety for human services. You know, he swapped and took work for me, so I mean, if we can talk to him, I don't know. Unless you wanted it.
No, I'm good. I prefer to stay on VRFA,
Oh,
so I
okay.
don't mind giving up public safety to John if he wants it.
Well, it's kind of hard to have a discussion without John here.
He's been on it before though, right?
Well,
Public
it
safety,
says
I don't think so.
It says, John specifically said, I would like to see if Katie would switch public safety to human services with me.
So it's up to you,
So that's,
Katie.
yeah, basically, it's up to you whether you would.
If you want to stay on public safety, you can stay on public safety. All these other committees, people are staying or moving to different ones.
I'm pretty sure he was on it a few years ago.
Yeah,
We
and
didn't, we didn't meet very much though.
Jones ever on public safety?
He was, but I'm not sure when. I think he was on a year.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years. I think it was when, it was you, Halsey, and John, probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I was on
I
for a
haven't
couple of
gotten
years.
old enough yet for me to remember.
so what would we like to do in public safety? Leave it as is or change it?
Can we leave it as is until after I've had the opportunity to talk to John?
I don't have a problem.
Is that a possibility?
We can change anytime.
Yeah,
Okay.
change it.
Let's leave it as it is for right now.
Okay. Human Services Committee then is,
John wants off,
right,
I'll take it.
okay, so remove John and add Katie, and
I
then
went off that too.
Walker.
I can take both divisions.
I formed that committee, I've been on it since its inception.
So, and then we have Olivera, and you want to stay on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but we still need another council member for the Human Services Committee. If Walker gets off, and John gets off. So it's Kate, Putnam, or Steiger.
Well, you're a touchy-feely kind of guy, you can stay on that committee.
Human services?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
This next one's right up your alley too.
Technology.
Technology?
I want on that yet.
Here's the thing,
I'm
yeah.
gonna turn that computer on. We're going.
Get some pencils and some paper.
All right, Technology Committee is Jones, Olivera, and Walker. Any changes to that committee?
I'd like to stay.
I'll stay.
I think John wants technology too, so if anybody else wants it, I'm willing to give it up, but.
Okay, so, and then, Valley Regional Fire Authority, we have Jones and Walker with Olivera as an alternate. Discussion? Keep it the same? One thing I want to do say right now, regarding Walker's position on this committee is we're going through this training consortium that he pretty much has instigated, and it's going through the process right now through the Valley Regional Fire Authority, and I would like to see some continuity to stick through on that, to follow it all the way through. So it's something that, and you can speak to the training, the training consortium that's coming up, it's something that's going right through the board of government now. And so there's gonna be probably 2 or 3, maybe more meetings on that.
Well, it's a
As
trial.
far as I know, we're already in it, and,
So, but it's a trial, it hasn't.
yeah, at the end of the year, there's gonna be a decision, a
So there's
recommendation
gonna
from
still
staff.
be more discussion and follow through at our board of government meeting.
So the end of 2015.
Yes, Councilmember Stichels.
The only thing I say as far as the alternate needs to attend
Have to
meetings.
attend those meetings.
Yes.
I mean, because they cannot step in just out of the blue and, oh.
No, they have to be registered and.
So, I mean, and I don't believe the alternate's been attending meetings from last year.
No, I don't think, we have, right now, we have you down, Olivera, as the alternate, and you have not attended a meeting, right?
No, I didn't know that I could, I didn't know, and I was wondering about that.
Well, and even like the other cities, I don't know if they've identified alternates, they've never been in the audience before, it's been kind of,
The only alternate, Auburn is, this is the first year that they've had an alternate, and that is Rich Wagner, who,
oh, that's right.
in the past, we are the only city that's had an alternate.
Well, and is this the first time we've had an alternate, or was 2014 the first time?
I think so.
Yeah.
So we didn't even see a problem with it?
So, is,
Not as long as you.
I know, originally.
Yeah, I have no
If
problem
you
with
needed
it.
to step in, you could.
Originally, when it first started, I was the alternate, and Katie, was, Catherine Edelholm was, but she stepped down prior to actually the completion of the forming of it. So I was on the committee when the final forming was done and everything. But I did attend all the meetings through the original conception of it.
And I'm the vice chair of the finance committee too, so the finance committee meetings are 5:30 now? They changed it, I just go when they tell me to
I
show
think
up.
it's 5.
No, I think it's 5:30
5:15.
because they've been going faster now, so I think it's 5:30 before the meeting, so the meeting started. I know, that's true, and we can do it too.
Really?
But yeah, so we'd have to check to see how that works to see if,
Has it been that long?
no, but if you would serve on the finance committee as well, as the alternate.
Oh, I see. But you could probably sit in the audience, it's open.
Yeah, that's fine, but if,
It's a-
but if for some reason I'm not there, she
Right.
would fill in on the finance committee or
Or
something.
John?
Or John, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So is council good then with these 3 people, then Johnson, Walker, and alternate Olivera?
Yep.
We're good? Okay. Council parliamentarian has been Walker.
I really think that should be somebody else. I got it by default, I really have no idea what I'm doing. I think it should be me.
Oh, I see. And
I
the
mean,
rest,
we went to the same training, but she's gone through a lot more training than I have for parliamentary procedures, just not. I mean, I don't mind taking it, but I maybe should get a copy of Robert's Rules of Order or something.
I don't know, Walker seems to always criticize other committees when they're not handled properly.
I nominate Clint for council parliamentarian.
Too late, that was like an hour ago, Doris. Get over it.
So what's council's pleasure on council parliamentarian?
We're gonna leave it with Fred.
Is it necessary?
I don't know if we've even used it, it's just identified.
Yeah, it used, way back when, it was James, because he happened to know more about parliamentary procedure, and
And
it
we
was
needed
about
a
the
lot of
order.
instruction.
Yeah, well, but, and it was also like order of motions and the
Right.
priority of motions and that kind of stuff, so,
And
I
keeping
mean,
it quiet.
I don't mind doing it.
So leave it 10 and just really defer to Amy.
I'll just get it in name for the,
Give it a look.
for the prestige.
Do we have a set of Robert's Rules of Order?
We have
Sure
one
we do.
somewhere, but it's not, I
I
mean, it's
think
not
there's an app.
sitting here.
There's an app.
I know that James had a
Online.
really cool, like, abridged version for
So does
modern
Josh.
times for using
Mhm.
meetings, so
So does
maybe
Josh.
if the city could buy a copy of that.
There you
But
go.
like parliamentary procedure for dummies?
You got
Josh
that?
is
You
right
got
on
that?
top
Like
of
an
that
abridged
whole
version,
thing.
because
Yeah, he has one
Robert's
little
Rules
cheat
for the
sheet.
dummies.
with huge,
Yeah.
huge bodies and everything else, but we only use a small subset of it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so we're good with parliamentarian?
Who's the alternate for that?
Amy.
Council.
Okay, next up, hotel motel advisory.
I can do it, but
Olivera?
that hasn't
Well,
really
nobody
come
came
up.
through with anything,
No.
but I think
Or
we're all
Nancy.
fine.
Okay.
Especially since, I've instructed our city administrator to get clarification from the auditor on what that money can be used for.
Oh, nice.
So, because we'll be seeing probably use from Terrytown and partnerships,
Okay.
and hopefully some other things. Okay? So, everybody okay with that, staying the way it is?
Yep.
All right. Solid waste with, Councilmember Cave and Steiger. I think they should follow through with them.
Well, I think we're in the middle of the contract, I think we almost have to stay with it.
Let's switch it up just to.
That's right, so council's good with leaving that alone? Farmers Market Board, right now is Councilmember Walker.
That was a 3-year appointment, I believe, but I just received word that the board's being dissolved.
Oh.
And it's being absorbed into, or kind of formed into part of their parks.
Oh, so
Commission?
would you still have a position on it?
No, there's one seat open on that park. It's not the park board, but it's a subset of their parks,
Okay.
Advisory board.
Oh.
And there's a seat open that they're taking applications for, but they're opening up to, looking to everybody that was on the board currently, so.
So, I'm just curious, so then Algona and Pacific really don't have a seat at the table anymore with the market?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think we could still lobby, but there was a lot of discussion at the later meetings last year about our contribution, and wanting to start asking for, the number was thrown out like $10,000 a year to participate, and we had long discussions about that.
You can imagine.
Did you write a check?
I was gonna use my city credit card.
But Eldred still has it, doesn't he?
I did not hear that.
Yes, sir.
All right,
So that position's gone, although, like I said, there is a position on their board that's available for application. If anybody's interested, they can send you an email with I think the
Okay.
link is in there,
all
but.
right. So really, this is a non-existent position.
Yeah.
Right, eliminated.
All right. Council liaison, the city, schools, and forums,
I would like to do that.
so yeah, Councilmember Jones was on that, but I don't think he was able to attend the last one, and it really doesn't matter, it can be more than one council member.
Okay.
So
I
Councilmember
attended the
Oliver
last
went to them, and then I myself attend that as well, but.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So if anybody else is interested, I think everybody just knows pick when the meetings are, and I do bring it out, so anybody can attend. So it's an open public meeting, and I think the next one will be in Algona, so we're gonna meet twice a year.
Isn't it in February?
It's a ways away. So, okay, Suburban Cities Association, right now we have Councilmember Cave as the alternate. I
And
attend that
outside of the
meeting
first couple
myself.
of months, I haven't really been available.
Is anybody interested in, attending that meeting? And that's another one of those, if you're gonna be an alternate, you need to show up at every meeting.
And those meetings are like during the day, right?
No, they're not. They're in Renton, and they run from 7 until 9. 7 at night till 9.
Just the second Wednesday.
The second Wednesday of the month.
I
And
found it
Renton City
extremely
Hall.
difficult to make it, so I'm not very reliable at it.
So in this committee, I mean, personally, I find a lot of value in it. We have an opportunity to be a voice with all the other cities in King County, except Seattle and Belleville, those are the only ones that are not participants of the Cities Association. It's a great networking opportunity, and that's how I got on other boards and committees too. Really enhancing. But it brings a lot of value to our city. Not sure if anybody else is interested.
What days are the meetings?
They meet the second Wednesday of each month from 7 until 9 p.m.
Who does?
in Renton. Sound Cities Association. It's actually called, you have Suburban, but it's actually Sound. And it's the Public Issues Committee, it's their PIC committee.
Public Works meets first Wednesday of the month, right?
Yeah.
So you're good. You're not on Public
I'm not on
Works, never
Public
mind. Well, who's on Public Works?
I don't.
Nobody, we dissolved the, over. We're going to Disneyland.
I don't know that I should be on it. I don't know what my travel schedule's gonna look like this
Okay.
year, so I don't want to.
Okay. Well, and if anybody wants to go, I mean, you're not restricted from not going, you don't sit at the table, but the alternate would be there if I'm unable to make the meeting. And they would sit at the table, sometimes, not very often. So, and then we have the skate board, which, I was attending, but it became a really a big conflict with my job, so I have talked to both Lance and Jack for them to be representatives. That is held during the day, it's from 9 until 11 in the morning on the third Tuesday of the month. And I felt they would represent the city a lot better, so I've asked them to fill out the form and turn it in and be able to represent the city. And I can bring their people back.
And that was true of Pierce County Regional Council as well, wasn't it?
Correct. Lance is taking on Pierce County Regional Council as well, because we were unable to get participation there, yeah. And so,
You don't find it scary?
with that, what's that?
Turns on Finance, right?
Yes.
Finance committee, yep.
You wanna run that back, Amy, real quick and let us know who's on first?
So, and here's the other question, if we run this back through, do we wanna do it in the form of a motion as we did and accept these all as one? Or do we need to do that?
Do we wanna hold off on public safety until you talk to John, or do we
Yes.
wanna just make the appointment and then we can amend it later?
Yes.
What's the answer to that?
Just a second, we'll go ahead and leave it as right now, and then if John really shows it, great.
It doesn't matter, you guys just tell
Then
everybody
we'll
on council your
Yeah.
screen or whatever. We don't have to go big form with you.
Yep.
Okay. Finance Committee, I have Councilmembers Garberding, Cave, and Walker. Governance Committee, I have Councilmembers Cave, Olivera, and Putnam.
I'm sorry, you said finance committee, Garberty?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Wait a second.
Can't get away from accounting, ever.
Public Works Committee, I have Councilmembers Jones, Putnam, and Steiger. Public Safety Committee, I have Councilmembers Garberding, Cave, and Steiger. Human Services Committee, Councilmembers Garberding, Olivera, and Steiger. Technology Committee,
Right,
So Public Works, I thought Garberty was off
I am,
and Jones was on.
he is,
Mm-hmm.
she said that.
Okay, I'm missing this. Go ahead, I'll stand here.
okay, Technology Committee is Councilmembers Jones, Olivera, and Walker. Valley Regional Fire Authority is Councilmembers Jones and Walker, with Councilmember Olivera as the alternate. Council Parliamentarian is Councilmember Walker. Hotel Motel Advisory is, Councilmember Olivera and Mayor Guyer. Solid Waste Committee is Councilmembers Cave and Steiger. Farmers Market Board position was eliminated. Cities and Schools Forum, I have Councilmember Olivera and Mayor Guyer. Sound Cities
Okay,
Association.
wait.
We're gonna keep Jones on it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
So it's Jones and Olivera,
right.
Okay,
yeah, Jones and,
I was scared to speak up.
since when?
Sound Cities Association, I have Mayor Guyer. Skateboards will be done by, staff, as well as Pierce County Regional Council,
So you've taken Josh off of it?
PCRC.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right? Is there a motion?
To suspend the rules and adopt the committee assignments as stated.
Second.
All those in favor, or any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
So, question.
Yes,
Since the farmer's market board, I think, is in our council rules of procedure, should we send those to the governance committee and have them evaluate them? It's been probably 2 years since we've looked at them, so, I mean, we need to fix that. We also, not cities and schools, but, skateboard and Pierce County Regional Council are both handled by staff now. That's not allowed, not allowed, but it's not mentioned in our council rules of procedure, so maybe we send that to the committee, just look at if it needs refreshing in other ways, and bring it back to workshop.
does that sound good?
And Amy, I think you have the most current version, if not, I think I do, because I think I was the one who left it. So let me know if you need them.
So is that council president? Not hearing any objections? Okay.
And also, can I make one recommendation? We added the roll call vote for every ordinance and resolution to solve a specific problem we're having at the time. So we may look at that to see what other cities do and see if that is doable, so that kind of stuff. So, because that's specifically called out in there.
Anything else, then? Okay, so moving on to the next item on the agenda. City Hall